Welcome to a hometown edition of Beyond the Driveway. If you're a regular to this channel, you know we report on adventures from around the country. If this is your first view, please subscribe to this channel so that you don't miss a single adventure. Each year, on the Saturday of Memorial Day weekend, the city of Sierra Madre, California rolls out the red carpet to host the Mount Wilson Trail Race. Local volunteers serve a carb-loading spaghetti dinner the night before the race, complete with local R.T. Rogers Brewery offering a special race edition brew. Bright and early the next morning, Kirsten Court is converted from our city's quaint business district to Race Central. Local volunteers, community organizers, and businesses pitch in every way possible to support the runners and to assure a safe and successful event.
Colleen McKernan.
Kevin Trailhead.
Long-time volunteers here?
Long-time volunteers. Long time.
All right, we have Bob and Sue here. They're in charge of the kids run. Tell us a little bit about the event.
Hi, the fun run is been going on for almost as long as the race. It has students from ages 3 to 13, and it's a lot of fun for the kids.
In fact, the kids love it. Those 8 to 13 years old run a mile. The 3 to 7 year olds run 6/10 of a mile. Everyone walks away smiling with a t-shirt and a ribbon. The main event kicks off with tradition. Runners 14 years and older face the full course. 8.6 miles and 2,100 feet in elevation gain. There are prizes for the overall male and female winners and for each 5-year age grouping. There is also a high school challenge division. Whether you win or not, everyone shares in the camaraderie of the trail experience. There's no shortage of smiles and stories at the end of the race. As you could probably tell, the race is steeped in history, and there's no better person to tell you about it than local resident and race director Pete Siberl. If you're interested in experiencing the complete trail as a preview for when you run the race, you'll get to do it just after Pete's interview. Okay, we're here today with Pete Siberl, who is the race director for the Mount Wilson Trail Race. First, Pete, why don't you tell us a little bit about the history of the Mount Wilson Trail Race?
It's a great history. The Mount Wilson Trail Race is the second oldest trail race in California, second only to the Dipsea Race, which is run in Marin County. This race started in 1908, the Mount Wilson Trail Race. In those days, people would come to Sierra Madre basically for the air and for their health, and running and hiking was a very popular activity back in those days. In 1908, when the race started, the runners would actually run all the way up to Mount Wilson and back. They would, which is 7.5 miles up from the trailhead. They would rest a half an hour when they got to the top, and then they'd come back down again. The race continued till about the 40s, 50s, and then it was sporadic, and then kind of fell out of favor altogether. Was brought back in 1965 at the shorter distance, which is 8.6 miles. It's 4.3 miles up from the middle of town up to Orchard Camp, which is about halfway up Mount Wilson and back. That's a elevation gain of about 2,100 feet. I got involved in 1994, and I brought a kind of a runner's perspective to the race, where we added a whole bunch of new features. We added a kids race, we added a beer garden, we added regular maintenance days to take care of the trail. So over the years, it's become a smaller event where a couple hundred people would show up, a little archaic up to now, 2023, where we have over 350 runners. It's really become a very popular Sierra Madre event. I'd say 3 big events of the year. That's the 4th of July Parade, the Wisteria Festival, and the Mount Wilson Trail Race, where virtually everybody in town comes together for this community event.
So Pete, you mentioned you've run the race in the past. I know you didn't run it yesterday because you ran into the trail later in the day, and you had a little remorse from not running. So how many years have you actually run it yourself?
I think it's been 30 years now. I've missed 3 races, 2 due to knee injuries, and then just this past year where I tore my hamstring.
So what did you think of the 2023 edition of the race? Did it go off as planned? Do you feel it was very successful?
It did. Everything clicked. Everything clicked. We had incredible weather. The trail is in incredible condition. We have a terrific bunch of people who maintain the trail, and we had a lot of new people this past year. I don't know why, but they're coming from all over. They came from the back east, they came from the south. 350 people is our max because of safety reasons. It's a grueling race, but it's a dangerous race in that it's a single track trail going up the mountain, and we have drop-offs of 200 or 300 feet, so it can be very dangerous. This year we were full at 350 people. They all came back safe. They all came back with smiles on their faces. It was great.
Good. So I guess the recommendation for 2024 is if you're prepared to run a race like this, come to do it, but register early.
Absolutely. Register early. We do sell out in a number of weeks. And we also want to mention we have a 16-week training program. Starts 16 weeks out from the race, which is always the Saturday Memorial Day weekend. So around February, we start this program, weekly program, led by a guy named Simon Cooper, who's a full-on running coach. Free program, takes people out to various parts of the city, a trail system, races, to get people ready for the race.
And I know there's no cap on the age limit because there was an 87-year-old that finished a race this year. What's the age, how old do you have to be to actually compete? 14
years. We think that's, again, it's a dangerous race, and we think any age lower than that will be eligible. Those kids will be eligible for a kids race that we have.
Well, Pete, thanks for taking the time to talk with us today. I've never run a race personally, but I can vouch for it. I've witnessed it many times. It's a really wonderful event, and the community of Sierra Madre really rolls out all the stops for it.
Thank you. It's a very wonderful event. It really pulls together the not only the running community, but all the people, wonderful people here in this town.
Great. Thanks, Pete. We'll see you next year.
Thank you, Jim.
If you haven't run the race before, this section of the video will literally give you a step-by-step preview of the trail. If you have run it, I hope it brings back memories of a great day. Okay, who's ready for a run? The Mount Wilson Trail Race starts and ends just a few feet north of Kirsting Court on Baldwin Avenue in Sierra Madre, California. With little exception, the race is all uphill until the midpoint turnaround at Orchard Camp, which is 4.3 miles and 2,100 feet in elevation gain from the start. That's the bad news. The good news is it's pretty much all downhill after the turnaround. This full trail review will take 35 minutes. The winner of the 2023 Mount Wilson Trail Race finished the course in just over 1 hour and 2 minutes. A short street run gets you to the trailhead at about 9/10 of a mile from the start. From this point, it's all dirt and rocks for the next 6.5 miles. One mile down, 3.3 to the turnaround. Full disclosure here, I'm not running while I shoot this video, but I do wish I could run this fast in real life. In fact, I've never run the race, but I've hiked the route countless times. If you're following the map, you're just coming up on Rescue Ridge. Charlie's new trail, which avoids the switchbacks, is not part of the race. It's worth mentioning that this newer section of the trail is dedicated to local resident and longtime trail maintenance volunteer Charlie Bell. It avoids the rocky switchbacks ahead and has some great benches to relax on while overlooking the San Gabriel Valley. This bridge is a new addition built by volunteers in record time, traversing a section of the trail that washed out during the winter storms. These are the switchbacks, very steep and very challenging. It's a high penalty for error section. Charlie's trail rejoins the original trail again here. Just before first water, the trail flattens out a bit and you get a little downhill rest, but that won't last long. First water is not only where the trail has its first access to a stream. On race day, volunteers set up a water stop for the runners. Just 2 more miles to the Orchard Camp turnaround. You made it to the fixed ropes. Orchard Camp is getting closer. Once past the ropes, the trail becomes a little less intense, with the exception of Decker Springs, where there is a significant climb before the final push to Orchard Camp. When you are this close to the Orchard Camp turnaround, it's easy to get distracted and start thinking about the run back down. That's when you can lose focus and make a mistake.
Damn it.
My shoelace got caught on a root. Ouch. Congratulations, you made it to Orchard Camp. Time to grab a water and turn around to head back down. If you're near the front of the pack at this point, you'll be facing a lot of uphill traffic. Stay focused. The switch back down to Deckard Spring is steep with a big drop-off. After the fixed rope section, you have a lot of smooth trail all the way through first water. Grab a drink as you pass through there. The switchbacks can be slick with loose dirt over smooth rocks. The race won't be won or lost here, so slow down and be sure-footed. Making the turn at Rescue Ridge gives you the first view of Sierra Madre. The end is in sight. With little exception from here, the trail is wide and not too rocky. Woohoo! You made it to the trailhead. After this short hill, it's a downhill fly to the finish. From here, you can see the finish sign and hear the cheers. The announcer will be calling your name as you cross the finish. Congratulations! Be sure to sign up early for the 2024 race. Thanks for watching this hometown edition of Beyond the Driveway. If you like what you saw, please be sure to subscribe to this channel. And we'll see you on the road.